Welcome. I'm here to discuss Social Security payments and why people are living month to month wondering if their check's going to come. I get a direct deposit from my Social Security retirement, but I still, it's like I never worried about it before. And people are worried about it. I work for this man who he wouldn't pay us on time, and it was a part time thing for me. So I wasn't dependent upon that money, but I still have anxiety. I mean, I do have anxiety about a lot of things. And so I would get anxiety because he wouldn't pay us. And I ended up leaving there because I got I just got fed up with it. It was always this, thing about it. And then he told me that he couldn't pay us because they cut off his credit card. So I knew that if he was paying us with a credit card, or using funds from a credit card to pay us, that things were bad. But listen to this real quick, and then we're going to go over some of the reasons, some of the things that you may not know about how people are paid. I want you to hear what AOC has to say, especially in the very beginning of this. Listen.
Fact that people are choosing between medicine and rent is barbarism. The fact that people are worried about whether they will be on the street every 4 weeks is barbarism. The fact that every time a person has an ache or a pain in their body and they're scared that it could either be just a sore joint or cancer, but they can't find out because they can't afford the doctor, this is barbarism. Sure. And if we do not demand, and not only demand, but win unions, healthcare, wages, ending endless war, then we will condemn ourselves to barbarism. And I refuse to give up. I refuse to submit myself to that future. That's not a life. And so to live, we have to fight for each other, and we have to stand with each other, and we have to fight for this vision and this world. And whether we live to see it or not, I believe we will. But at the end, what matters is what we dedicated ourselves to. And that, to me, is what makes it both successful and valuable. Fact that people are...
So it appears to me that AOC has empathy and she's concerned about people who are not getting the funds they need. There's been Medicaid cuts. I don't know all the cuts. I can't tell you all the cuts. I heard about some man not getting his Social Security. I don't know what they've cut. I just know that every month people are worried about that. And let me just tell you, okay, if you don't know that Social Security payments, including retirement, disability, and survivor benefits, are typically distributed on the second, third, or fourth Wednesday of each month, depending on your birth date or the third of the month of those who receive benefits before May 1997. So if you started getting benefits before 1997, you get it on the third of the month. The rest of the people who get those kind of payments get them on the second, third, or fourth Wednesday of each month. And then SSI, which is supplemental Social Security, SSI payments, however, are usually distributed on the first of each month. You always hear people talking about, oh, they got their check on the first. No, Social Security mostly is on Wednesdays. And so, for a majority of people, right? And so these were spread out all over the month. So you get a check once a month. And if that's all you have to live on, then you're very dependent on that Wednesday of that month. And you're probably, you're worried about it, and you're spending your time thinking about when I pay this bill and I'll pay that bill. I can pay that bill after I get my check. And there's just a lot that goes into that for a lot of people who don't have a lot of money. And then the other thing I wanted to tell y'all about is when you buy a home, they give you this grossing up thing. And what it means is that because Social Security income isn't taxed, they can give you like a 25% income boost as far as when you go in to qualify for a home. So for example, on a conforming loan, if a borrower's Social Security award letter states the monthly benefit is $1,000, 25%, or in other words, $250 can be added to the amount to qualify. Thus, the qualifying income is $1,250 per month. So, when you're working and you make over a certain amount of money and you pay taxes on it, you can say, well, I make $60,000 a year, but then you pay taxes on that. And so your income is based on your take-home pay. And this is your take-home pay. This is your take-home pay boosted by 25% because you don't pay taxes on it. And the loan company's like, and also the other thing that the way it looks to me is like, that's kind of guaranteed money, or it has been. And now we've got a president in here who's saying we've got to cut these and that it's a big waste. And Elon Musk is saying it's a big waste. But the president can go and golf on the weekends and spend millions of dollars because it costs millions of dollars for him to fly to the golf course, to the extra protection on the golf course, to the, and the thing is, if you stay in Washington, if you stay in the White House, all that's already there, right? It's already there. And I'm not against a president going to get away from the White House. I'm not opposed to that. It's just that when you're coming in and you're taking money from poor people or people who are retired or disabled and can't work anymore, and you're telling them this is all a fraud when you've paid into it your whole life, that's not going to fly too well. And so I'm with AOC here, and I've been saying this, if you've watched me before, is that we've got to stick together. And I don't feel like at this point our Democratic leaders are really doing anything for us. It just seems like they're not. But I don't know. I don't know for sure. But I just wish that they would do more, because it is a knot in people's stomachs. I've got a knot in my stomach almost every day, wondering if I'm going to get paid. And I don't, it's just the way it is. So if you are, and the other thing I've pointed out before is that Social Security they're laying off a lot of people. So there's not going to be people there to do the work to get you signed up when your birthday comes around. If you have a birthday this year and you're trying to get Social Security, I feel sorry for you. If it's your year that you're trying to get on, if you've reached the age to get on, because there won't be anybody to process it. There won't be enough people there to process that. And especially for people who are trying to get disability, I just think that a already really slow program, from what I hear, is going to be really bad. And you already have to jump through hoops. A lot of people have to go to before a judge. They have to hire attorneys. They have to do all these things to get disability when they became disabled. So it's a big mess. But we shouldn't have to live. Let's just listen one more time to the very beginning of this. That back up. Okay, listen, the very beginning of this.
The fact that people are choosing between medicine and rent is barbarism. The fact that people are worried about whether they will be on the street every 4 weeks is barbarism. The fact that every time a person has an ache or a pain in their body and they're scared that it could either be just a sore joint or cancer, but they can't find out because they can't afford the doctor. This is barbarism.
Sure. This is barbarism. So think about that, and think about your fellow, your neighbors and your fellow human beings who may be dependent on their Social Security payments and how that could be affecting them. And let's have some empathy for our friends. Let's have some empathy for people who we see online. And maybe I get called a lot of things on here for my rhetoric. I get called things, and that's okay because I'm out here. But when you're in a chat and somebody's calling you names or talking down to you, you don't have to listen to that. And you should beware of these people that want to go around and call you names because you're dependent upon your Social Security or your disability, or if it's disability in that, or even SSI. Those are programs that we've paid into, and they're there for us, and we're just getting it back. And so I pray for you guys. I pray for people who are on Social Security who are worried each month about getting their check. I hope y'all have a great day, and if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button for me, I would appreciate it. Happy St. Patrick's Day.